That's why Crooked Joe is staging his pathetic fear-mongering campaign event in Pennsylvania today. Did you see him? He was stuttering through the whole thing. He's going to, he's a threat to democracy. They've weaponized government. He's saying, I'm a threat to democracy. He's a threat to democracy. Well, okay. Couldn't read the word. He's a threat to democracy. You know how bad the press is? You know what they do? They take me saying that like that. And they say, Trump couldn't say the word democracy. Look. No, that's what they do.
That was Donald Trump trying to mock President Biden's speech on the importance of democracy. The contrast between Donald Trump's speech on Friday and President Biden's speech on Friday in Valley Forge could not be more stark. Donald Trump speaking in Sioux Center, Iowa, President Biden speaking in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. Let me just show you a portion of President Biden's speech so you can see the contrast. Play this clip.
They weren't there to uphold the Constitution. They were there to destroy the Constitution. Trump won't do what an American president must do. He refuses to denounce political violence. So hear me clearly. I'll say what Donald Trump won't. Political violence is never, ever acceptable in the United States political system. Never, never, never. It has no place in a democracy, none. You can't be pro-insurrectionist and pro-American.
What a powerful contrast. So now what I want to show you is some more clips from Donald Trump's deranged, unhinged speech in Sioux Center, Iowa. Let me play you a few of those clips, then let me show you some of the clips from President Biden's speech at Valley Forge. Here, Donald Trump praises the authoritarian Viktor Orban from Hungary. Play this clip.
We have no leadership on our side, but Viktor Orban, most respected man, probably the toughest man in Europe, maybe beyond Europe.
Here, Donald Trump calls the January 6th terrorists, insurrectionists. Trump calls them hostages. Play this clip.
And we're not going to stand for it. And all of that stuff is going to be written out on day one. It's all going out. You know the steps when you make your speech in front of millions of people and you're making the beautiful speech, looking down to the white. That was one of the great scenes I've ever seen. By the way, I think J6 had an equal amount of people. It's the biggest crowd I believe I ever spoke to. You never hear about that, do you? You have the hostages, the J6 hostages, I call them. Nobody's been treated ever in history so badly as those people. Nobody's ever been treated in our country.
Here, Donald Trump blames the FBI and Antifa for starting the insurrection, spreading one of the more deranged conspiracies about January 6th. Play this clip.
And those people have to be, many of them, I guess there's some. By the way, there was Antifa and there was FBI. There were a lot of other people there too, leading the charge. You saw the same people that I did. But just as
here's Donald Trump complaining that the criminal cases are moving too quickly against him. Play this clip.
When I went to China and I saw President Xi, I said, do you have a problem with drugs? No, we do not. Oh. Why? Quick trial. I knew what quick trial meant, right? Quick trial. Unlike our trials that last, 400 years, except if I'm being tried. If I'm being tried, they go quickly. They set records. If I'm being tried for bullshit, they go fast. Mine, I'm setting records. They've never seen in Washington, D.C., they've never seen speed like that. Other guys, they'd be in court for 7 years. Mine gets done like 2 months. Nobody's ever said, what a two-tiered system of justice we have in this country. It's horrible.
Here's Donald Trump essentially threatening the United States Supreme Court or saying, I appointed those people. And so when it comes to these cases that have been brought against me that I'm appealing to the Supreme Court, I want the Supreme Court to do the right thing, like a mafia boss. Here, play this clip.
I had the one, and then I had the other. Supreme Court is taking the case from Colorado, and so they'll make a decision. And you know what I do find, and, maybe say it, maybe don't, but I say it. A Democrat judge appointed by, let's say, Obama, they're down and dirty. They say, we're appointed, that's the end. when you are a Republican judge and you're appointed by, let's say, Trump, they go out of their way to hurt you so that they can show that they have been fair, honorable people. It's an amazing difference. I've never seen anything like it. You appoint some of these radical left Democrats, and they've, right from the beginning, you say, we're dead. And the Republican judges want to go out of their way to be fair and unbiased, and even to a point where they hurt you. And I guess it's a different wiring system or something. But all I want is fair. I fought really hard to get 3 very, very good people, and they're great people, very smart people. And I just hope that they're going to be fair because, you know, the other side plays the ref. Like Bobby Knight, the great Bobby Knight.
Here, Donald Trump claims that he's not a politician, but a worker. Play this clip.
A lot of these, because I don't consider myself a politician. I consider myself like you, we're workers. We know how to do things, make money.
And I suppose by worker, he means sending grifty emails begging people for money to pay the $370 million that New York Attorney General Letitia James is requesting in the New York Attorney General civil fraud case. Here, Donald Trump attacks Nikki Haley, his primary opponent, and calls her a globalist because she likes globes. Play this clip.
Nikki Haley has been in the pocket of the open borders establishment donors her entire career, and she's a globalist, you know. She likes the globe. I like America first. The people in this room like.
So as I always say, MAGA equals fascism plus idiocracy. You're seeing both on display right there. And that's why Donald Trump then points to his head and says in his speech that I'm not an idiot. Play this clip.
But I'm 100% up here. I feel I'm better than I was 25 years ago. I think I'd know it. I really, maybe you know it, but you don't want to know it. You know, that could be also like that. But I think I'd know it, you know, when you say.
Here, Donald Trump rants about the New York civil trial. Play the clip.
This is not democracy, he says. This is not constitutional. This is wrong in every aspect, and the judge and the AG should be arrested and punished accordingly. And how much longer can we?
Here, Donald Trump attempts to take credit for the booming economy right now and the record-breaking highs in the stock market, and he claims that it is because of him that the stock market is doing well now. Play this clip.
And I believe, because the stock market's doing okay for the last 6 months, but I believe the reason is because we're leading in all the polls. I think if we weren't, the stock market would be going down at a level that you haven't seen. And I think if we don't win, I think you're going to end up in a stock market like you had in 1929, not a recession, a depression. I believe that. I have to say it. I really believe you're going to end up in a depression. You take a look at what these people are doing, how they're wasting all this money on the Green New Scam. It's called the Green New Scam. It's horrible.
Donald Trump then uses xenophobic rhetoric and says that people who don't speak our language are signing up to vote. Donald Trump's already trying to justify when he loses in 2024. Play this clip.
And I believe now that that's why they're allowing these people to come in. People that don't speak our language, they're signing them up to vote. And I believe that's why you're having millions of people pour into our country. And it could very well affect the next election. And I believe that's why they're doing it, because they know what they're doing.
And let's compare what you just saw there from Donald Trump with President Biden's speech at Valley Forge. Here, President Biden talks about the importance of our democracy. And here, President Biden talks about how badly Trump lost over and over again. Here, play this clip.
An attempt to overturn a free and fair election by force and violence. A record 81 million people voted for my candidacy and to end his presidency. Trump lost the popular vote by 7 million. Trump's claims about the 2020 election never could stand up in court. Trump lost 60 court cases, 60. Trump lost the Republican-controlled states. Trump lost before a Trump-appointed judge and then judges. And Trump lost before the United States Supreme Court. All of it, he lost. Trump lost recount after recount after recount and state after state. But in desperation and weakness, Trump and his MAGA followers went after election officials who ensured your power as a citizen would be heard. These public servants had their lives forever upended by attacks and death threats for simply doing their jobs.
Here, President Biden talks about how Donald Trump makes fun of the fact that one of his supporters tried to kill Nancy Pelosi's husband. Play the clip.
You can't be pro-insurrectionist and pro-American. And yet Trump and his MAGA supporters not only embrace political violence, but they laugh about it. At his rally, he jokes about an intruder whipped up by the big Trump lie, taking a hammer to Paul Pelosi's skull and echoing the very same words used on January 6th. Where's Nancy? And he thinks that's funny. He laughed about it. What a sick... My God. I think it's despicable, seriously. Not just for a president, for any person to say that. But to say it to the whole world listening. When I was overseas, anyway.
Here, President Biden talks about how Donald Trump retreated into the White House as America was being attacked and as he watched it on TV. Play this clip.
Over 140 police officers were injured. Jill and I attended the funeral of police officers who died as a result of the events of that day. Because of Donald Trump's lies, they died because these lies brought a mob to Washington. He promised it would be wild, and it was. He told the crowd to fight like hell, and all hell was unleashed. He promised he would right them, everything they did. He would be side by side with them. Then, as usual, he left the dirty work to others. He retreated to the White House. As America was attacked from within, Donald Trump watched on TV in the private small dining room off the Oval Office. The entire nation watched in horror. The whole world watched in disbelief. And Trump did nothing. Members of his staff, members of his family, Republican leaders who were under attack at that very moment pled with him. Act. Call off the mob. Imagine had he gone out and said, stop. And still, Trump did nothing. It was among the worst derelictions of duty by a president in American history.
Here, President Biden talks about how Donald Trump is campaigning about Donald Trump and whining and playing the victim, and it's not about the American people. Play the clip.
The choice is clear. Donald Trump's campaign is about him, not America, not you. Donald Trump's campaign is obsessed with the past, not the future. He's willing to sacrifice our democracy, put himself in power. Our campaign is different. For me and Kamala, our campaign is about America. It's about you. It's about every age and background that occupy this country. It's about the future we're going to continue to build together. And our campaign is about preserving and strengthening our American democracy.
Here, President Biden talks about the American dream and how we're the only nation built on an idea. Play this clip.
All-out war is what Trump wants. That's why he doesn't understand the most fundamental truth about this country. Unlike other nations on earth, America is not built on ethnicity, religion, geography. We're the only nation in the history of the world built on an idea. Not hyperbole, built on an idea. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal. It's an idea. Declared in the Declaration, created in a way that we've viewed everybody as equal and should be treated equal throughout their lives. We've never fully lived up to that. We have a long way to go. But we've never walked away from the idea. We've never walked away from it before. And I promise you, I will not let Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans force us to walk away now.
And here President Biden talks about how Donald Trump called our former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, called for him to be subject to the death penalty. Play the clip.
He's threatened the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff with the death penalty. Says he should be put to death because the chairman put his oath to the Constitution ahead of his personal loyalty to Trump. This is coming from a president who called, when he visited cemeteries, called dead soldiers suckers and losers. Remember that? Sometimes I'm really happy the Irish in me can't be seen. It was right around the time I was at Bo's grave, Tommy. How dare he? Who in God's name does he think he is?
Two very different speeches. Donald Trump at Sioux Center, President Biden in Valley Forge. President Biden talking about the American people, preserving and protecting our democracy. Donald Trump talking about himself, whining and complaining, spreading deranged conspiracies, and proving everything that President Biden said in President Biden's speech. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Please share this video, hit the thumbs up button, which is the like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below. It's free to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and when you leave comments, it helps with the YouTube algorithm as well. So please leave a comment and share your thoughts about this video. Have a great one and hit subscribe.
Hey Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.